going on, guys? Welcome back with the channel, guys. And so, you know how in the last episode we're gonna have a few rebellions and a little bit more going on. So this is the fascist republic, or the fascist of Russia, rebelling up against not aligned Russia, saying that they're weak and that they would make the country a lot stronger. And anyway, they've been making a lot of movements in the country, so to take the government down right there, because the government isn't going to accept having a fascist in charge. And it's a bit of like kind of a time skip. So it's 1923. So it's a time skip. So this is the territory that they're going to be having a lot, but mostly just separated, and then they have a big swath of this part. They want to make Russia great again, because there's a war behind Russia. Russia used to control like crap ton of territory all over here in Europe. Used to even control Moldova, Poland, and all the territory, and even like way down here, all this, and even in Chinese territory. And then they lost to the Chinese, and then they lost their glory. And they're not going to be the only rebels. The Mongolians were really mad at everyone for not giving them their land back. So they're going to rebel against a couple. Here we go. So we got the Bulgarians, called the and the Bulgarians gained independence. Obviously, they were a lot smaller than a lot different borders, greater fascism, and their rebellion doesn't really spread that far on, because this is like the main Bulgarian territories. Like, this is where mainly the Bulgarians live, in this alternative timeline. So instantly, there's going to be battling going on in Russia, because not everyone supports the fascist. But instantly, they unlock these two pockets, and they're instantly pushing forward on the nearly undefended side. But this part right here just gets absolutely crushed by the Russians. But the absolute like horde of just basically starts pushing them back, but that's because they're falling back. And this small pocket right here of Russian fascist, and they're like, protect Moscow or the country will fall. So they're just like blitzing to Moscow, and then they capitulate, because they really didn't stand up much of a chance. Because the old Russia, the new Russian Confederation, had a massive army in comparison to the old army. So they couldn't hold every point. So that is the Russian is dealt with. Okay, now let's move into Bulgaria. So the Bulgarians take advantage of the weak Albanians over here, so they attack them. And attack the Julgars Empire, which is now very small. So what do they decide to do now? They decide to buy all this land out here. And then the Romanian troops arrive, and everyone comes down to help crush them. So then, while all this chaos is going on, the Greater Croatian Federation Empire decides to conquer Hungary and the very weak state of Albania. It's that land took it from them. And this the Jurgos Empire pushes back Bulgaria. They take a lot of lands. So then they make peace and just make do with the lands that they got, but didn't get any of these lands over here that belong to the Albanian Federation. So they were very weak after the defeat in the war. And in this war, the Jurgos Empire got a lot of power out of it, and kept also bought lands off of the Mediterranean Federation, which is like peaceful, like not aligned, kind of like the Russians. Peaceful, like neutral nation, trading nation. And the Greeks are basically the top Tartar and so they make an alliance with Albania and Romania are all allies just in case Bulgaria attacks. So then the alliance wants to take and kick Naples out of the Balkans and get old land back, so they do that. Okay. So now the Empire and Albania all get more power. Instantly after that, after the Russian Empire, or the fascist Russian Empire, fight the Lascaux Empire, and just destroyed this flank over here because it's just about unaffected. And they push in over here, but then they get stopped by the Caucasus Mountains. But since they've made such a major push over there, this side over here is very weak. So they push forward, taking like a massive push. But then finally all the troops from over here arrive to make a counter push. And push in and cut off the supply of the other troops and continue their push. But then they get cut off again by these troops over here connecting their front lines. They got less supply routes. So then they try to make a peace treaty after a war. Or they try to make a peace treaty to, like, and I'll show you what the borders look like at the peace treaty. Wasn't that much of a border change other than over here in this area. there's a split, and okay. And Burundi decides to clean up this part of Africa. But they leave America alone because they don't want to disturb them. And then they start fighting France, which France was caught by surprise and was kicked out of Iberia. After controlling Iberia for a long time, then is even pushed into southern France by Burgundy. And they didn't even put up that much of a fight when their actual army got down there. And the Mediterranean Federation helped them make a peace treaty on... This was the peace treaty. France lost a bunch of land, but kept power. Okay. That doesn't belong to them. Well, guys, what should we do with... If you guys want to suggest anything that I should do in the next episode, do that. So then we had... France gives them the Balkans and give away those other provinces. And France gets in a fight with the North German Federation, and it's already really weak after the war with... Well, it's just really weak. And it loses a bunch of land. Which makes the borders look very ugly. So, Mediterranean Federation helps out with the peace treaty, and Germany doesn't get all this land, but push. Those lands. The rogue state of Florida starts attacking Mississippi and pushing in to their territory. But then, right after that, they get a lot of land taken from them. And now they have to go and protect all their other territory before it gets taken. So that's the fall of the rogue state of Florida, huh? Yep. Okay. So, I don't know, is that going to be all for this episode? Yep. Guys, no. We're gonna do one more thing. But if you guys are enjoying the content, it's like nice if you guys subscribe, because that tells me that like and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you can see my content. Shows me that you enjoy the content. Stay updated by Stay notified by turning on post notifications. Why in the world is France? Control this right here. Don't anymore. Okay. So I'm going to end this episode here. If you guys have enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you can stay notified when I post my next video. Peace.